Jesianity, the gate is narrow. Many are called. Introduction. A disciple of Jesus is a catalyst for the creation of Jesus-like humans, starting with themselves. Jesianity is a project to do exactly that. The kingdom of empire proliferates and thrives exactly by fostering the creation of disciples of the leaders of empire. Be like Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Taylor Swift, Michael Jordan, Donald Trump, Barack Obama. The list is endless. Endless, except for one name. The list does not include Jesus. No one tells you to be like Jesus, to be a disciple of Jesus. This is not an accident. Jesus is the anti-empire. Empire is the anti-Jesus. They are matter and antimatter. The two opposite ways of being. Creator and destroyer. Jesus was most harsh about hypocrisy. Acting instead of being. Don't act like a child of God, be a child of God, a child of Creator's kingdom. Not sometimes, not when it's convenient, not when it's popular. Be that, every breath. Hurry. Let the dead bury the dead. We know how to be disciples, we are steeped in it. As mentioned above. Jesus said that being a child of Creator is to be abundantly alive, joyful. And that being a child of Satan, empire, is to be walking dead, empty graves. If you know that Jesus is correct, then this website can help you begin and persist in the urgent, every breath, lifelong, excruciatingly painful, exquisitely joyful, life and death process of rebirthing yourself. Life and death. Jesus said so. I am the way, the truth, and the life. One comes to the Father through me. Take up my yoke and learn from me. If you love me, you will do the works that I do, and greater works than these, because I go on to the Father now. If you love me, you will keep my words. And the Father will love you. And the Father and I will come and make our abode with you. So, is discipleship about you? Was Jesus about himself? The world is strewn with writhing, tortured and dying souls. It is about becoming a vehicle for bringing them back to joyful abundant life. Even if getting crucified in the process of trying, is likely. I speak these words that my joy would be fulfilled in you, he said. I came that you would have life, and have it more abundantly. And join with those of this website do the same. A more detailed view. Jesianity is a project to bring people into discipleship to the man Jesus, his 1010 instructions and example, and to help them progress as disciples, with the goal of becoming nothing less than equal to the Master. It is enough for the disciple to be as the Master. Other sites, other efforts, may seek to bring along other cadres, followers, agents, supporters. But as Jesus distinguished a particular group, disciples, to be the spearheads, the educators where he could not be, as close to his equal as they possibly could achieve, disciples, that's who this site is for. This is the gateway page for this site that helps with the project. This page is to get people to Jesus, Jesus' 1010 instructions and example from the 4 canonical Gospels. Understand what we disciples in process understand discipleship to entail and mean. Jesianity. Here. Decide that discipleship is what they are called to. Or not. There are other ways to serve in Jesus' effort. Understand what this website has to offer by way of being a resource to disciples in process. And this page is designed to be a bit of a sampler. The miracle of Jesus is not that he was God who became man. It is that he was man who refused to be other than human, radically, ragingly, joyfully, helpfully humane. At any personal material cost. At every personal material cost. Aggressively declining temptation after temptation after temptation, for his life, and ours. The only abundant joyful life available to we humans. Humane. A revolution, a rebirth of, a rehabilitator of, humanity. Link needed. One thing is sacred on this site, Jesus 1010 moral teachings and moral example. And the tools for gaining deep understanding, masterful recall, and joyful application. Jesus 1010 Gospel instructions and examples. Jesus, personal development, practice, tools. Jesus, the 150 essential characteristics, approximately. Jesus, 500 among the most crucial of the 1010 instructions and examples. This may be a good place to start your achievement of recall and mastery. Can you think of anything more crazy, we can't, than culture and religion that tells us to study and master religious teachings, traditional education topics, career skills, sports, entertainment topics. But not the instruction and example of the one they call the Son of God. The one that has spawned the likes of Albert Schweitzer, Martin Luther King Jr., Dorothy Day, Leo Tolstoy, Gandhi, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Walter Rauschenbusch. Can you think of anything more crazy? Can you think of anything more individually and species-wide suicidal? Link needed. It's too late to save the species from collective suicide, but it is not too late to save your own soul, your humanity, and maybe help one or two other people do the same. Most importantly, saving the humanity of any and all of the young ones that you can reach. Those that do not master Jesus' teachings and example will not wish to be alive on this hell Mad Max Thunderdome planet. Those that do master his teachings and example, will wish to be alive. Can you think of anything more important, more joyful, more worthwhile, more meaningful? We cannot. Link needed. Everything else on this site springs from, and is springing from Jesus, these 1010. As all healthy life springs from good ground. Jesus. Jesianity. Agent logs. Disciple logs. Soul strengthening. Jesus' instructions and moral example are the healthy soil. Though the words are far from adequate, too many, too disorganized, this gateway page for the website now has all the current ideas and thinking summarized. Though not everything is summarized on this first page. Function must always precede form in everything Jesus, Jesianity. It would be a great kindness for you to refer to his instructions and example, and provide your input regarding anything and everything contained on this site, the ugly, the good and the otherwise. We drawn to Jesus' discipleship, Jesianity, sounds like Christianity, only with Jesus instead. Discipleship of Jesus, simply have seen that the answer to joyful abundant life, of salvation in the midst of a hell world, was seen, practiced, and shared 2,000 years ago by a man named Jesus. Was quickly buried by the same empire domination and exploitation serving religious dogma that he lived and died to save us from, the deafness and blindness and deadliness of organized religion and empires based on selfishness. Only the name changed. The scribes and Pharisees remain in charge. The maturing disciple of Jesus. Out of hundreds or thousands of hours of deep open-hearted pondering of Jesus, his 1010 instructions and example, approximately the following has manifest itself within them. Every day they understand Jesus more, as Jesus explains himself, and of course no one else can. Because when one has most or all of his instructions and example in mind, they begin explaining each other, Jesus. At the heart of it seems to be staying in Creator's will. Jesus is pretty clear. He said, "The Father never leaves me because I always do what pleases him." And also, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." We strive for the same. We don't find it easy, and much of this site, logs, is about our successes and failures. Note: a link is needed here to a greater explanatory page. One that exists or one that needs to be created. Every breath joyful abundant salvation, or at least peaceful salvation, in the world, that disciples in process experience clearly as otherwise unbearable material hell for themselves and all of creation, link needed. Our gratification is from the joy of acting every breath out of Creator's will serving others, not the pleasure of serving themselves, link needed. That they now live from within the kingdom of heaven within them, their humanity, their soul, their Holy Spirit, their capacity to be humane, their child within, their mammalian brain, their pure heart, all somehow being different ways of saying the Father within, the kingdom of heaven within, link needed. They find that they are not I, anymore, but rather we, themselves and the Father and Jesus within them, link needed. And we with all of creation, link needed. That they are now less and less the miserable slave to the spirits of their head and flesh, and to empire which exists exactly by inflaming and empowering those same spirits, link needed. That the radically humane life that Jesus exemplified and exhorted us to, itself is joyful and abundant life, nothing else is, that we disciples in process demand for ourselves and more so for all other creatures, or at least in this otherwise unbearable world we find peace, link needed. We would be disciples in process, given the choice between our own joyful life being terminated cruelly on the cross, and possibly causing joyful abundant salvation in another soul, we would choose the latter in a heartbeat, link needed. Disciples in process have found after wide open-hearted study that Jesus' undiluted, unobscured, unadulterated, instructions and example are the purest, surest, most certain path back to the joyful abundant salvation of early childhood, link. That if and when we see a purer, more promising, more efficient path for ourselves and others to pure joyful abundant life every breath, we will switch to it in a heartbeat publicly and clearly. We are no cultists. That the joyful abundant salvation, Creator's will, can be aptly understood as serving from the soul the neediest souls in solidarity for the individual and collective joy of it. Courageously ragingly waging our humanity, link needed. That whether or not God is outside of us, Creator, by whatever name, Creator, our humanity, is inside of us since birth but buried by sick, erroneous, lost, empire culture including, if not especially religious culture, and the task is to rebirth it from, rehab it from, free it from what might be called the evil spirits of head and flesh, link needed. And we face that no longer can the truthful hope for world redemption, saving the world from its final destruction. Jesus clearly saw that at the end of his life. We are now thousands of years too late for that. But we are not too late to save our own humanity, our own joyful life regardless of external circumstances, and thereby become, infinitely more importantly, a potential path for someone in front of us or beside us or way downstream from us to do the same. That's our joyful task. There is none other. It's excruciating heaven, every breath, in the attempt. Link needed. When forces of evil, empire, are killing, some would rather die than not fight it, attack it, at the root, and the roof is our humanity gone dead, our capacity for being humane gone dead. We disciples in process are the would-be rehab team, the would-be midwives for humanity reborn, link needed. Anyone that thinks Jesus was just a ticket to a condo in the sky is missing the whole point of Jesus. His instruction and example are the gateway to heaven in this life regardless of the material hell that one may be in. Link needed. The purpose of everything on this site is to encourage you to master the 10 instructions and examples of Jesus from the 4 canonical Gospels. It is the complete and entire foundation for life that we have found, and we have found nothing that can substitute for it. Link needed. Christianity, whatever the good intentions, has done exactly that. It has substituted itself in place of his 1010 instructions. Link needed. Jesianity, we disciples in process, by contrast, have one and only one foundation, the 1010 instructions and examples of Jesus from the 4 Gospels. For us, everything in life, and certainly everything on this website, are tested against those 1010, and must pass that test to remain. Additionally, we find that learning to master and practice and understand his 1010 instructions and example, link needed, is an every breath, lifelong pursuit. And we think it might be helpful to share our ideas on that, and successes failures on that here. The logs. Link needed. The degree to which anything and everything on this website leads toward the above, it is good, and the degree to which it does not, it is evil, error, sin. It awaits your constructive, important, well-intended comments on any and every page in the comments section. They will be read, they will be considered. There are many links on this page. They are provided on this page as a way for the reader to get clarification on what summary paragraphs have to say. Do not feel obligated to click on every one. If this page speaks to you as being for you, then you probably will want to study every page on this site. But they are two different things, using this page as a gateway, diving in and consuming everything that we have to share. Regarding we collaborating on this website. We understand ourselves called to be disciples of Jesus. We are works in process. By function and calling and devotion, if we are to label ourselves, it is as Jesians, not Christians. This is our understanding of what it means to be a disciple of the man Jesus. You may think differently. You may agree. Where you think differently, let us know, because we're growing, and we need your thoughts. Jesianity means discipleship of Jesus. The name is not important. The function is far and away the greatest hope for any human being. It is the 1,010 instructions that can be extracted from the 4 canonical Gospels, understood with hundreds or thousands of hours of deep thought and study, and months, years, decades, lifetime of practice mastered. The harvest is plentiful, laborers are few, he said. Link needed. Necessary and sufficient to being a disciple of Jesus is 1. A soul that is still alive, hearing and irresistibly heeding the call to discipleship. 2. The 1,010 teachings and example of Jesus. And 3. Hundreds and thousands of hours of devoted study, mastery, practice, experience, and understanding of them. Nothing can substitute for that. Nothing. Not this site. But this site might help you. Link needed. For those further down the path of discipleship than are most, that is a fact, it's nothing worthy of accolades. Jesus said, "Do not be pleased that you cast out demons, just that your names are written in heaven." Regarding someone less far down the path, Jesus said, "If you harm one of these little ones, it is better that you be thrown into the sea with a millstone around your neck." Link needed. Christianity has 66 sacred books that form the Bible. We have 4 sacred books, Mark, Luke, Matthew, and John, and more particularly the instructions and example within them. Link needed. Discipleship development, support, recruiting. The purpose of this site. Link needed. We are not here for comfort, first of all our own, or that of anyone else. Jesus said, "Let the dead bury their dead." Whoever would look back is not fit to be my disciple. There are souls dead, suffering, and dying. We're here to help bring back life to some of them. That's it. We are the, unless you hate your very life in this world you cannot be my disciple, folks. We hate the world that we foist on ourselves from empire. We hate it. Secondarily for ourselves, primarily for what it does to our sisters and brothers. But we love the time we spend in Creator's kingdom. Link needed. We are the most enlightened greedy on the planet. We've taken Jesus at his word. He spoke that his joy would be fulfilled in us, that we would have life more abundantly. We've found that to be correct. We demanded for ourselves even at the cost of our own lives. And more than that, we want it for everyone. Whatever it costs us personally. Link needed. There is one thing above all that is sacred to us, the teachings and example of the man Jesus. That's not so odd. Would it be odd for a serious physicist to say that what is sacred for him is the teachings and findings of the man Einstein? Link needed. We are called to be disciples. That sounds odd, but it is the norm in culture. What is odd is that we are called to be disciples of Jesus, not Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Donald Trump, Taylor Swift, Michael Jordan. Here. What is sacred for us to the instructions and example of Jesus? And more particularly our understanding and mastery of that we can be more helpful in the world. So what also is sacred for us is every opportunity to receive help in becoming better disciples. Hence this site, which hopefully, Creator willing, will become more and more a collaborative site in its creation, and ongoing help support groups, special interest groups. Link needed. Dogma is not sacred to us. Would the teachings of Einstein be any more or less consequential, more or less impactful, if he was the only begotten Son of God? Our single-minded devotion is to reducing suffering in the world and increasing joy. And Jesus is far and away the most hopeful that we found. Link needed. Christianity may be the most horrible or the most wonderful thing ever created. The most horrible if its real function is to render Jesus' teaching of no effect, or to be in support of empire. The most wonderful if it was the only way that the early followers of Jesus could figure out how to pass forward his teachings and example to future generations under the watchful eye of empire. Here either way, it leaves it up to us, not Christianity, to make disciples of ourselves, and maybe others. Jesus is true, Jesus works, at least because he understood that our health, joy and life is our humanity, that the purpose of empire in all its forms is to destroy our humanity, to enslave us, and that what is divine is to protect our humanity and bring it back to life. Link needed. The one supremely hopeful solution we see for the world is to each be the best disciples of the man Jesus that we can be, and to encourage others to do the same as quickly as possible. And like every intelligent devoted student, where can we work together with other devoted students to master the teachings of the Master? Here. When two or more are gathered in my name, I will be among them, Jesus said. To us that at least points to how hopefulness for the world increases geometrically when two or more disciples are collaborating in the fight, not to increase comfort, but increase effectiveness, speed of growth. This site needs to be a catalyst for that, or some other sites need to do it. Link needed. We are maniacally focused. Maniacally committed. Because we are fanatics. Cultists. Because we are humbled by the task, humbled by the need, humbled with our limitations. Certain that Jesus is a way, the truth, the life. And that if he is not, our maniacal commitment and focus will cause us to learn that sooner than later. Here. We are single-mindedly focused, the way that a climber with medicines up a sheer rock face to save folks is focused, or they die, and the folks die. Link needed. There may be massive redundancies on this page. There are massive redundancies in Jesus' teachings and example. He seemed to value content over presentation. And for now the priority on this site must be the same, including this page. That it be correct is important. That it be easy, extremely clear, simple, enjoyable, just can't be the priority right now. Content. Truth. Link needed. We are not authors, prophets, speakers for Jesus. We attempt to bridge people to him and help ourselves and others understand and practice him. Link needed. Jesus and true disciples are by their nature existential threats to empire. Here. Focus to disciples, focus is a matter of heaven or hell. Life or death. Here 1031. For disciples it is being on the offense, or dying. Waging our humanity, or being dead. Here 635. The horrible, hateful, evil, infuriating things in the world are why we become disciples. Here 248. Those fighting alongside Jesus are warriors on the battlefield in the midst of life and death battle for the soul of others. Understand that. Help them. Ignore them. But don't get in their way. Why would you do that? Here 239. As devoted practitioners, and limited human beings, the best synthesis that we can hang on to so far is, that if we courageously, extravagantly, wage our humanity for the benefit of the most broken among us, we are near certainly delighting Jesus, delighting Creator, and that delights us. Link needed. If Jesus sweat blood all night facing his existential crisis, I suppose disciples in progress like us shouldn't expect to be able to do any better. Here. We give our lives for the least of these for the joyful abundant life of it. Except when explicitly called for, we do so by attempting to be and to raise disciples as Jesus did. He was very careful and deliberate when to explicitly confront empire. As are we. Here new entry. Disciples of the revolution, in their every molecule, or they are not disciples. Jesus' way of being is a revolution, fundamentally a revolution in and of the individual nervous system. His example and teachings are a rehabilitation facility. They require extreme constant devotion to use and application. But the reward is the abundant joyful life in the audacious attempt even in the hell earth that we've created. If discipleship of Jesus seems easy, straightforward, a pill that can be taken, text that can easily be read and understood, then it is of no use to you. Is the myriad of equipment in a massive rehabilitation center somehow trying to be difficult? Trying to be obscure? No, it is trying to be worked with, exercises, endlessly. The problem ultimately is that complex cultures, empire, corrupt the wiring of our nervous system, let alone filling it with hellish programming. Jesus found, practiced, and shared a rehabilitation program. Disciples devote their lives to applying and sharing that rehabilitation program. Hence the work of the disciples, including this website, cannot by its very function be easy, straightforward, simple, a pill to be swallowed, a paragraph to be read. Link needed. Discipleship, mastery, practice, way of being. Finally, direct confrontation with empire, which is likely to be terminal for them. Here.